Got my popcorn for the show, it's TUBI time. Cheesy sci-fi flicks and every weird rhyme. Aliens and spaceships made of tinfoil dreams in a cardboard universe where nothing's as it seems.
Welcome to 9 Circles of Hell. You are in To Be Decided. Woo!
Yay!
Welcome to hell.
We are a Film Logic podcast, a project, if you will, of watching free movies on Tubi. Usually they're B-movie sci-fi gems on a low budget, and talking about them on this episode. And today we have a special one, a curveball, if you will, chosen by our very own Vincent.
What's up?
Vincent,
Yeah.
what inspired you to pick this movie today?
Revenge mostly. This was my inaugural entry into the series, so I wanted it to be something, kind of representative of, what my experience with movies is. And lately I've been watching a lot of anime, and I was thinking, okay, what does Tubi have to offer for anime? Wait a minute. It's a movie based on a game, based on a classic novel,
Based on a poem?
with Graham McTavish and Mark Hamill and like 6 different directors, and it's
What could go
produced by
wrong?
Electronic Arts. Oh,
Right.
winner!
So, if you haven't figured it out yet, Vincent, he chose Dante's Inferno, animated feature about a video game. Ivy, you're also here.
Yes, I am here.
Was this right up your alley, or did it miss your alley completely?
I was optimistic in like the very beginning because I was like, "Oh, this sounds like a really interesting concept," and I do like anime, so I was not unexcited for it. And the first few minutes, I was like, "Okay," and then it kept going and going, and I got like, despite there being a lot happening on screen and like in the story, and it's super like crazy and violent, it was kind of boring. And it was really just like, it was just a dumb movie. Like, it's just dumb. Like, there were good ideas that just like got trampled and like ruined. And I was like, okay, they're just doing their own thing. And I like finished it, but like I mentally kind of checked out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, Adam, you have an L to admit.
Whoa, you're gonna just expose me right off the start?
I'm sorry.
Let's just put him on blast.
I think your story is a reality of our show that all of us are going to experience.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, no shame. I tapped out after like 30 minutes. I was just like, I was, and like, I like, anime, and especially like anime with like more adult themes. Stuff like ranging from like Neon Genesis Evangelion to like Devilman Crybaby. So like it's, I wasn't turned off by the material, but a lot of it was just like a lot of those like adult centric like anime series have a message or something to say. And I was just watching this. I was like, this is just kind of gratuitous.
Yeah.
No, that's 100% fair and valid. But I think that the movie did have a message, and it was buy our game.
100%. And as we get into it, it's kind of weird because this is one of those. This is of the movies that we've watched. I think the production value that has got into this is probably the most.
Right.
And like the licensing alone, the voice actors, they got like some serious like big name anime and animation directors on this too. Like one of the directors, Shuko Moraes. He worked on, something called Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. and
Mhm.
you know
Mhm.
Witch Hunter Robin, and Samurai Champloo, and if you remember from our last episode of Film Logic, he worked on a little something called Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, which is right,
Hey,
fun little
callback.
bridge.
It all comes full circle.
Full circle. Also, he worked on probably maybe the best Gundam OVA, Gundam Wing Endless Waltz. So it's like they got some real people,
right,
on this, and I think it looks really cool. Like I think they did a good job on the art side of things. And even like the Western folks that worked on it were like huge too. Like one of the other directors, Mike Disa, he worked on Looney Tunes Back in Action. He worked on Lilo and Stitch. He worked on Hoodwink. So it's like like real serious like people. Like he worked on Atlantis, Treasure Planet. Like good. Like these are good, talented people.
It even had my personal favorite English dub anime voice actor, Steve Blum. Steve Blum as Lucifer.
Okay. Yeah. So first off, I want to say that this is the darkest adaptation of A Legend of Zelda I have ever seen. I mean, those dungeons were brutal. Well, no, actually, I want to say what was happening at the time when Dante's Inferno came. EA noticed that Sony PlayStation had the God of War series. And what did they think about God of War? That everyone was liking it? It was because it was edgy and gory, and, Kratos got naked with women, and that was the message they got from God of War. Not the gameplay, not the story.
Also, not historically accurate. He probably was, more interested in guys, but that's neither here nor there.
Right. Right. So none of that they got through their head. They just saw gore, nudity, and they said, "Oh, we need something ancient. Dante's Inferno. Okay, great. Let's and it kind of follows beat for beat the God of War formula. And it's funny because the movie follows beat for beat the video game, and we're going to talk about how they put like bosses from the video game as part of the plot.
Yeah.
And so a little background information. IMDb gives this movie a 6.5, which if you're keeping...
That's crazy.
Wait, what was that? Which one?
6.5.
On what?
On IMDb.
Yeah, because it has like an 80 something on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's only audience score.
Right. It's not big enough.
I gotta check the Letterboxd.
There's some hilarious reviews on there. I was gonna read them, but if you want to read them, they're hilarious. So yeah, 6.5, which is the second highest movie that we've gotten, because
there's 10K reviews.
Storm Cash got 7.3 because of
That's right.
People. So
yeah, it has 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
Well, Dante's Inferno didn't have the crew's family members, flooding the IMDb boards with reviews.
Right.
Yeah, these reviews are funny.
Yeah. What I noticed is this was produced by Stars. So, yes. I think they're the only ones that wanted to take a chance on this. They're thinking, oh yeah, EA, they're like the Cadillac of video game companies. We can't go wrong here. And so,
well, keep in mind this came out before the video game quote unquote genre could have been taken seriously in as a legitimate movie enterprise. I mean, this is way before Ben Schwartz made Sonic the Hedgehog entertaining and relevant.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this was before Mario Brothers and the $1 billion that they got. But it was slightly after Assassin's Creed, so we kind of see what they were doing. They were in a war with Ubisoft to see what movies they could get out. Okay, so we're going to go, and you already mentioned it's got Graham McTavish, Steve Bloom, Vanessa Branch, Mark Hamill, Peter Jessup as voice talent, and all those wonderful directors. let's just go through the story beat by beat and just see what we thought about this. So the movie opens with Dante lost in a forest, being followed by a rider, a man in dark cloaks. Suddenly, beasts attack, and the horse does like a Matrix move off a rock, which
I
already
don't even remember this.
Yeah, it kind of sets the tone for the movie. Like if the horse is doing like gymnastics, you know what you're getting. So
Yeah,
then
Kung Fu Horse, narration straight from the poem. Already
Yep.
off to a good start.
Right, like it said, and thine horse doth matrix flip. You got to translate it. It's so beautiful. We then cut to yes. Okay, we then cut to Beatrice's marriage proposal, where Dante. There's a lot of flashbacks in this, so brace yourself. They're all throughout the movie.
Constantly, the whole movie is a flashback.
Yeah. In fact, we're gonna find out it's flashback. Enter new circle of hell.
Flashback.
Blood, kill. Flashback. Yeah. So, Beatrice tries. There's a marriage proposal between Dante and Beatrice. I can't marry you because of those darn crusades. He tells her. Then he does that thing where he returns home. He does the Max Payne thing. Finds his servants butchered. Beatrice butchered. The shadow foreigner kills her, and we get our first shot at just like tasteless nudity as she's exposed as she's dead.
Yep. Exposed boobs and violence.
Yep. And
what,
it's just
what gamer doesn't appreciate that in cinema?
Yeah. And then, they're kind of thinking, you think you like God of War now, huh? So much boob. So yes, Beatrice in this haunting way says, "Did you betray me?" And right now we have no idea what she's talking about. Though through many flashbacks we will learn. So as he's crying over Beatrice, she goes right up to heaven, as this wonderful pure angel. But then suddenly she gets like
yoink.
She gets like speared by a demon and like yanked down to hell. Yeah. And Dante's like, "What? That's weird." I have a few predictions about why that happened, but we'll see. So then Dante goes full Castlevania. How many Castlevania vibes did you get from this?
A lot.
All of them. All of them.
Yeah. And like Castlevania on Netflix is a pretty good series, right?
Yeah. It's not the worst thing I've watched,
Right.
Better than this.
Yeah. So Dante goes full Castlevania, starts, flaming with anger and rage, zombies appearing out of stuff. He starts walking towards hell, which I guess is like a location on a map.
Yeah, he just kind of goes there.
Yeah. While he's walking, like these long Mr. Fantastic hands start grabbing him, and they start turning him into a quilting circle because they start sewing a cross onto him. And that's supposed to represent. Anyone know what that represented? Like being sewn a cross onto your chest.
I thought that would have been representative of, I guess the sins that he committed that he was going to have to confront in hell.
Pay for.
I saw that happening. I'm like, "Ooh, Dante, what did you do?"
Can you show us in 9 flashbacks, please?
Yes, in a series of demonic fever dreams.
Yes.
Right. Going off the God of War themes, right? Like it's, when his chains and the blades are like attached to his body, right? It's like an outward expression of, like you guys are saying, like his sins, right? He's literally carrying, right, his cross. So It's like, how can we show this in the most edgy mall ninja way possible?
Right. Zombie hands quilting you. They're at like the gates of something. Not sure if it's hell, because there's a lot of gates in this movie.
So many gates.
Yes. So you got Virgil. He's the glory of the poets, and he meets him and says, I'm going to be with you. I'm going to walk with you through this journey through hell. And then he just leaves. I thought would have been hilarious if he doesn't show up anywhere else in the series. It's like, oh, thanks. Yeah. Thank you for pointing where hell is. Okay. So they open the gates of hell. We get a flashback about saying how she was unfaithful, or how he was unfaithful, which implies that's why she's in hell, which kind of sucks. If your spouse is a jerk, you get to go to hell.
You get punished.
That's a bad deal.
I
don't want.
Sorry, not the risk of spoiling the rest of the movie, but I don't know how divergent from the game it is, because they don't really seem to explain, at least in what I saw, but like the reason is that like Beatrice wagered her soul, right? With Lucifer, and like in exchange like for his safety, she was like, he'll be faithful to me. And well, go ahead.
I'm thinking they mention that offhand, but like, did like Lucifer like come over and she was feeling cocky, like, I'm gonna make a bet with this dude,
right?
The one thing I know that won't fail, my marriage.
Well, he didn't make the bet, she did.
Yeah.
Well, he bet her that he like would cheat or whatever.
Oh, Lucifer. Okay, I thought you guys were talking about Dante. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Also, this has nothing to do with the original poem.
Right.
Yeah. Why would Beatrice make a deal with Lucifer, the king of hell? Because reasons.
Reasons.
Well, per the Divine Comedy, we're going to learn there's a cross and a double cross and a M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end. So we hear all this backstory about he was unfaithful. Dante's like, when was I unfaithful? When was I unfaithful? Which is hilarious, because when they get to the flashback later.
When they finally get there.
Yeah, when they finally get there, like, dude, you don't remember that very, very...
that vivid detail memory.
It's like, oh yeah, that's what unfaithfulness is.
That is what it means to be unfaithful.
Oh, I thought it meant don't cheat at Monopoly. Okay.
I thought it was to kill all the gosh darn heretic.
Yes.
Well, I mean, does it count if you're on the Crusades? Is it really cheating if you're on the Crusades?
Yeah, right. You know what
my
happens?
guy,
In
I'm
acre
pretty sure
stays
it
in
is.
acre. Soccer? Is it pronounced soccer? Who knows?
As the saying goes, what happens in Crusades stays in Crusades.
Stays in Crusades.
Crusades were like the Vegas of that time.
Amen, brother.
So they're in hell. We hear the wails and screaming, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be the soundtrack from here on. Wails, screaming, people yelling in pain. And I am not disappointed. Because that's what this movie has to offer from here on out. Then we cut to probably the part where Adam was turned it off. I'm willing to wager my soul in a scene that I can only call Naked Picnic.
Yeah,
the lust ring.
This is crazy. I mean, these to show that they're in a marriage together and that they're faithful. The only way to show that is if they're both like butt naked at like having a picnic
on top of a hill.
On top of a hill.
I was like, why?
It's how God intended.
It's what people wanted.
Like, did they pull this date out of like the date hat? And they're like, oh, we got Naked Picnic.
He's like, babe, I don't know how this got in here, but we gotta do it.
They all say Naked Picnic.
Oh my gosh. So like, yeah, they do their proposal through this Naked Picnic. And I thought it would be hilarious if there's like a guy with his kids like playing Frisbee in the background. Like, dude, seriously. This is a family park.
Like 7:00 in the evening. What are you doing?
Why did you think this was appropriate?
This is
Take it to your backyard, you perverts.
I don't care how pure she is. You can't do that here. Oh my god. So yeah. So it's all based on the fact that he makes this huge vow, like, it's only going to be you, babe. After the Crusades, totally you. You know, no hall pass for me. So we cut to the invitation of the 9 circles of hell. So it's literally telling you there's going to be 9 levels with a boss in each one. Big sign, abandon all hope. Made me think of, this is the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Which would make a hilarious Disney ride. Dante's Inferno.
I would do that ride.
Yeah, with Johnny Depp narrating.
Pure terror.
Right. Well, now that I've seen this movie, I can say that the best explanation ever is this is Willy Wonka directed by Rob Zombie.
You're not wrong.
They go to a new part of the factory. And there's like death and bloodshed. A member of their crew dies, and then we move on to the next. Okay, even has their own Oompa Loompas. So another cutback where the priest absolves Dante and all his Crusader members of all their sins, basically giving them a free pass to do whatever they want.
That's a hell of a hall pass.
Right. I feel like Dante has like this 8-year-old understanding of like how Catholicism works. He's like, I can sleep with whoever I want because the priest said I'm absolved of all sins.
Yeah, the vicar said I can murder whoever I want.
Right. This is like the turning point where like Dante just becomes like this irredeemable jerk.
Yeah. It's like the hallmark of every abusive relationship where she just like, how does she not see this? Like, is she just dumb? Like,
red flag, naked picnic. Totally his idea. Right. So yeah, like at this point, he's just like a jerk. And it's like, it's going to prove that he's like, he loves like every sin except for gluttony, because that makes you look unattractive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reminded him too much of his father.
Yep. So in this flashback, we see Beatrice finally with clothes on. And I didn't recognize her. Honestly, I'm like, who is this new? That's Beatrice.
That's saying something when you don't recognize a character without their exposed nipples.
Yes. All right. So we get to the first boss, which I actually rented this game when I was doing a review of it back in the 2010. I was writing for Hollywood Jesus, which, as funny as that sounds, it's exactly as it sounds. It's a Christian blog where you write about popular media and kind of analyze it. And so I distinctly remember this boss where it's a demon of hell and you have to do 5-hit combos. And guess what they do in the show?
5-hit combos?
They do 5-hit combos. He picks his weapon. It has amazing range, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to learn that the best way to get out of hell is to pick a weapon with range, as no one can get close to him with this huge sickle with like a giraffe spine for a hilt. So, yeah, so demons of hell all getting 5-hit comboed. Then he impales the gate guy.
Yeah.
And, he's like, nope, I'm going into hell. Another theme is like, dude, why hasn't anyone else thought of this? Like, if you know you're going to hell, why not bring a weapon?
Right.
Why not learn how to fight? You can't be the first guy who thought of this.
Nobody thought to look for the sign directing them to hell,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Entrance to hell, this way.
Hell left 3 miles.
So there's more screaming, more agony. Beatrice is naked again. Dante...
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's like this naked spirit girl, like some animes do when they don't want to be rated R, but they don't want to. They still want to be edgy. They give you like an angel body, and you're like, you're still naked.
Yeah, it's like the naked body, but without the nipples. That's like it's like how they try to symbolize, purity and innocence.
Yeah, in the most rated R way possible. All right,
indeed.
So Dante. Then we meet Dark Dante, which I thought was like Dark Link.
No.
So it's just, yeah, it could be Dark Link. So he starts macking on Beatrice, and it's like, this is the main bad guy, and he just has the hots for Beatrice. So, I mean, this is the plot. This is what the poem was based on.
Yeah, it's giving Legend, where it's just like the devil is in love with her.
Right. So the first level is called Limbo. I mean, the signs between each circle of hell was a loading screen. I'm pretty sure it said hit square to block and parry. So the first thing is he gets a flashback about a miscarriage she has. And now that baby's in limbo. Once again, horrible deal. All unbaptized babies go into limbo.
It was really messed up, but it was a really funny visual because the babies just turn into crabs or something and just chase him, and it was so stupid looking.
Right,
ferocious little ankle biters.
Right. They grow like shredder claws and on their hands and feet, and they turn into an army and they chase him.
It's like Toy Story 2, where the evil kid puts the baby doll head on a mechanical spider or something.
Right.
Sid.
Yeah.
Hell is Sid.
Amen.
In the video games, you have to fight those babies as a normal baddie. So
you must
fight. They're just
devil
regular enemies roaming around.
And if you hit square to fight them, they stay in hell. But if you hit triangle, they go to heaven.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure.
I know. I accidentally sent a lot of babies. But they tried to keep that in this. They tried to transpose this into the movie. So
the Catholic guilt.
Yeah.
Indeed. Indeed.
At this point, I'm thinking Crusades are the worst thing ever. They ruin relationships and make people go to hell.
Amen.
Then we have the baby demons attacking. They go into this building where they see the great rulers and philosophers all standing in this stone circular room. And it's just a bunch of people arguing. And I thought, oh, it's a Twitter argument. I think
except less toxic.
Yeah. So all these philosophers are arguing. He meets Seldine, the Kurdish guy, and Seldine kind of is there's some backstory about how he knew Seldine, the Kurdish guy, and then he just kind of goes away, and I'm like, who cares? We didn't need to meet this guy because he has no weight on the story at all. Then we get to the squid boss.
Yeah,
the squid boss has an impaling wheel. And Dante gets into a fight, and I swear the only thing missing from this scene is a health meter. But similar to the video game's fashion, he gets the squid boss, he gets him stuck on the grinding wheel, and just kind of rips his head off through the grinding wheel. And I was doing on-screen prompts to get it right, because I didn't want the movie to go back a chapter because I failed. All right, now... So far, this movie's been pretty squeaky clean, but once we get to the next circle is lust. And the first thing they say about it is storms of lust forever rage. And they forgot to say in the studio with the animators.
Yeah.
And the screenplay.
Don't pin this on me, bro. I didn't ask for this. You did this.
Right.
Somebody drew the short straw here.
And in actuality, this is when I stopped playing the game and said I can't play it anymore because everything in the lust level is, shaped like Frankenwiener, which is a callback to our last episode.
Callback.
Right. So, similar to the fashion, he walks into some hot girl action. These girls start flirting with him. He says no, because, he's such a good guy. And typical women thing, when you say no to a woman, Ivy, I'm sorry, I'm calling you out this. You usually bend over backward and try to stab us with your phallus and your sword.
Every time.
It just happens.
I know, it's you can't control it. It's just, it's part of your chemistry.
Don't you hate it when the demon harlot you're talking to splits down the middle and starts attacking you
with a wiener sword? I mean, That is ridiculous. They're like,
happened to me today when the the checkout lady at Wegmans was like, "Hey, do you want the change?" And I said, "Stop flirting with me, harlot." And then we started fighting in aisle 4.
yes. So, like, I don't understand, like, why they had to go for the most disgusting visual and the most anatomically incorrect visual. Like, literally anything. She grows claws, her hair attacks you. No, her body turns into a wiener and tries to stab you. But thankfully, the scene is like, I think it's just like very fast and then it's over because they're like,
yeah,
I don't want to draw any more of that. Please don't make me animate that.
It was at this point that the animator had a sudden heart attack and died.
Exactly.
I don't want to be part of this project. Okay.
Yeah, whatever they were paying that individual that drew that, it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Or it's funny. Maybe it's not in the script. It's just like a guy just messing around.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you guys used that?
Dude, that was my journal.
That was between me and my wife.
That was my personal fantasy.
I mean, that's my fanfic that's coming out. It's So, another flashback. Dante is a horn dog. To negotiate 300 prisoners to get out of jail, a girl, he's being asked by his officers that they're going to negotiate the release of 300 prisoners in the Crusades. Dante's like, no, I want to kill them all instead, because he's a jerk.
He's a rational human being.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There's a girl who says, in exchange for some comfort, will you release my husband? And Dante's like, yeah, I'm still under the absolved of sins thing. Of course I am.
Wasn't it? It was. She said it was like her brother.
Yeah.
But it was actually, spoilers, her husband.
Her husband, yeah. So at that moment, like, Dante's like, oh, betrayal. That was like, he has an honest to God, like, light bulb moment over his head. It's like, that was it.
This is a moment where you just pause it and point at him and be like, that's the hero of our movie, everyone.
Our hero,
this
ladies
guy.
and gentlemen.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
I didn't realize that breaking my vow of chastity on the crusade would actually send me to hell.
Right.
How could I have foreseen this?
Yes.
The Catholic Church lied to me.
What was all that absolved of sin talk?
Why should I ever doubt the church?
Especially in the Middle Ages.
Yeah, right. The same people that told me to murder all of these innocent people.
Oh, man. EA is laying on thick. So then Dark Dante kind of has this talk that, like, all humanity's evil, hell is on earth. You know, the earth you see is just as evil as, like, the killing plants I have down here and the grinding mills and the drowning pools.
Look, they have Cybertrucks.
And he goes right to, like, everyone's favorite example of how evil exists in the world. Nazi Germany, they have flash forwards of Nazi Germany. And she kind of does this, she's like, oh my gosh, maybe you're right. Maybe there is hell on earth because of this, this Hitler guy I have no relation or understanding about. All right, we cut to the next circle of hell, which is gluttony. The one thing we don't get a flashback of, like, Dante, like, eating a bucket of ribs. Downing, like, a keg of butter and being like, oh, that was gluttony. Oh, my brother made that
a big barrel of mead.
Yeah. It'd be funny, like, oh, my brother, he made that gluttony vow. He's like, as long as my brother isn't a glutton, I'll go to heaven. Oh, man, that was... So we have Cerberus, which is like this 5 worms with mouths, and it just
way less cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of depictions of Cerberus. That was by far the most disgusting and disturbing I had ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, Like that was the first point in watching this movie that I actually felt bad about myself for picking this.
For the dog.
Yes.
Yeah. It's basically they try to build this up as like everything's gross and gluttonous, and I kept thinking, well, I mean, Golden Corral.
Hey, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
True.
Yeah. So Dante gets the idea to run inside the mouth of Cerberus, which Cerberus is like, yeah, that's cool. I was going to eat you anyways. I mean,
how am I going to kill him? Oh, straight through the death hole.
Yep, he goes into the death hole, and then they're like, oh my gosh, where should we go? Oh, attack the heart. And I'm thinking, okay, Cerberus is so dumb. Not only does he do no damage to Dante, but he pretty much gives him his vitals.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, oh, yep, I just killed Cerberus.
Yep, easy.
Yeah.
Barely an inconvenience.
Mm-hmm.
Back to my theory that hell is really a pushover place, guys. Like a nice ranged weapon, and just fight your way through. He meets Jocko, and that's where we first get the OP weapon that he has. He has his wife's cross. So Beatrice's cross, and it's OP because it pretty much sends anyone to heaven that he points it at.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, dude, use that for everything. Like
Literally.
this movie would be over in 5 minutes.
You could just save everyone and just get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Quite literally Dante's Hail Mary.
Yep. There's a flashback where Beatrice is so depressed about the Crusades that she's only skin and bones, and so she got really sick. And then we cut to the greed circle of hell, where everything's made out of gold or factory products. There's like a fun slide of death. There's like a conveyor belt that crushes people. People are getting burned in gold. And that's where we meet Dante's father, played by Mark Hamill.
Mm-hmm.
Was anyone surprised by that? I was surprised.
Yeah, a little bit.
I know that voice. That's Heath Ledger. That's a Joker. No. No, it was Mark Hamill. And Mark Hamill basically gave his Joker voice. I mean,
in the most disgusting way possible.
Yeah. So his father's this greedy guy he's a wife abuser, and he abused Dante's mom, and he's just this big jerk, and he loves money, and I'm just like, yay, Dante's world of crap. Everything is awful. Okay. So he gets into another boss fight with his dad. And
I've always despised you, Father.
Also known as Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Pretty much.
And this could be the thing where he learns his lesson, and he's like, I got to learn to forgive the tragedies in the past, and pulls out the cross. Dad, I forgive you. No, he cuts his dad up like like a fillet. He's like, no, Dad, you're super dead. First you were hell dead, but now you're like hurt.
You're going
dead.
to super hell.
Yeah. Yep. And I keep thinking, I'm so guilty of all my sins except the slashing sin, where I kill anything that moves.
Yeah.
That one I don't have a problem with. All right. Dante is tired after all that slashing, goes to a save point. Beatrice starts to pray, and then an angel of light appears, and nope, it's just dark Dante just punking her. And then he beats her up.
Psych.
Yep. He's a really big jerk, right? That guy. He says, I want you to be the queen of hell. I'd say, you got pretty peculiar taste in women, but then he's probably like, you did the naked picnic thing, so that's kind of like my vibe.
Yeah.
So you make a perfect wife.
Also,
Totally
Dante's
have a naked
mother
pig.
turned into a tree.
Oh,
That's
we're
right.
going to get there.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that happened yet or not.
Yeah. Yeah, we will get there.
This life is awful. All right. We're not going to get, folks, if you're depressed right now, we're not going to get off this track. All right.
It only gets further downhill from here.
So another flashback with Dante in this jail scene where they want to free the innocent Kurds from the crusade. And, Dante's like, no, I want to kill them all. I'm so angry. So he gets angry, starts showing some rage. Cut to another circle of hell. They stop naming the circles of hell, and they just start showing random places. I kind of lost track.
Like, welcome to Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah. So they go up to this river, the river Styx, and then like this huge potato with thorns pops up. And they're like, I guess we have a boat. And
Yep.
really, that's what you got out of the thorny potato? A boat? So,
Hey, don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
yes. So they're going to the city of Dis.
This what?
City of Dis tracks.
Eminem lived there.
Yeah.
Amen.
So, and it's kind of like quick edits. They're like, oh, now I'm going to the city now, and because it cuts again, and he's like on the shoulders of a giant, and Virgil is like right next to him, being like, yeah, this is normal. You're on the shoulders of a giant.
Why not?
Yeah.
I feel like I should bring up for context that as we're traversing the circles of hell, the directors are taking over.
Right.
And they are drawing Dante and Virgil in completely different styles.
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching, I'm like, why did Virgil's hair get bigger?
Yes, why is he wearing a new robe?
Like, it's
Yeah,
like,
Beatrice changes a lot too. Her eyes get bigger and she looks more like classic anime and less like a Castlevania style. And it was really like drastic difference.
You know,
yeah.
I didn't know about the director thing, so I thought like I had horrible memory. Like,
right.
I don't remember her looking like that, but
Maybe I wasn't paying attention.
Like,
going back to your comparison, Mike, to Rob Zombie directing Willy Wonka. I think if Rob Zombie had dementia, this is like he started one section, forgot everything, started another one, forgot everything again.
Also, for more
left hand, starts drawing with his right hand.
Also, for more context, this was made to be like English language, like, dubbed, but it still looks really off. Like, it doesn't really match the movements their mouths are making, and it's really like weird and off-putting.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that hard to, dub a movie in a language that it's intended to be spoken in. Like the script and the animation should match.
Right. Yeah. Even in dubs of like different languages, like it still tends to look good, like because they match it up.
Right.
Yeah. So but this was like a 60s kung fu movie at some points.
Right. It makes you really think like which director didn't do their homework, like, and just kind of handed in his assignment. It's like, yeah, take what it is.
I think after the Lust segment, like half the animators were like, okay, I'm out. Bye.
They blew their budget on the
yeah.
Like, I'm just going to send you a flip book.
They did their favorite part.
Yep. Oh, but there's more.
Wait, folks, there's more.
So I noticed that since the Lust circle, Dante didn't have pants for a little while, but he finally gets his pants back when he's on the giant.
Thank goodness.
Woo, pants.
There's a talk about heretics burning in eternal fire. Then there's another boss called Farinata. And the fact that I have no context or remember who this boss is, I just know that he just slashed a lot and she probably died, means that it wasn't important. But there was a lot of violence and blood squishing everywhere. Then another naked woman attacks him. There's a Minotaur boss throwing a little Greek. And Virgil kind of taps him on the shoulder. He's like, maybe don't be like angry when you fight this Minotaur. Maybe like do something smart and clever. And so I think Dante just like dives out of the way and like the Minotaur just crashes into something. And that's it.
This is definitely where I checked out watching it.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I learned my lesson. I can use my brains. Okay.
Yeah. GG, easy.
We go to the Boiling Blood River, where Virgil just kind of has this cool friend who's a demon horse woman. Like, oh yeah, my demon horse friend. Hey, how's it going?
My little demon, my little demon.
Haven't seen you since the last Settlers of Catan, game we had. Like, they're just all buddy. Like, do you chat with this person? Meet up for coffee? So she's like, oh yeah, I'm your friend, Virgil. Oh yeah, you can get right on top of me, Dante. I'll take you over this bloody river. And then like all these tentacles are coming out of the river trying to catch them. And I'm like, that's a lot of tentacles, even for anime.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
We cut to the suicide forest, which is not a cool plot for a Japanese horror movie.
Yeah, that didn't really age well.
Yeah. I think I saw Jake Paul in the background.
Yikes. So, yeah, he's walking through the suicide forest, and then he's like, oh, yeah, my mom, I remember her. And she's, like, stuck to a tree, and they're talking about how she committed suicide because his life's awful, an endless wheel of crap. And she tells him to look into his deepest sin. And at this point, I'm thinking he's probably going to have a boss fight with his mom. I can just see it. She turns into a large ant and starts throwing like branches at him. But no, he uses the super cross attack. She goes to heaven. So easy.
As all moms
Super
should.
cross.
Yes.
Very easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Yep. Another flashback.
The flashbacks.
It's a continuation of Dante murdering all those innocent, hostages. Someone is crabby without their snack.
You're not you when you're hungry.
Yep. Now we cut to the violent part of hell, where there's a zombie.
I was wondering when we would get there.
I know. It's been all G-rated up till now. So there's a zombie army of crusaders. So apparently this vicar who absolved everyone's full of crap because they all went to hell.
No.
I know.
Who could have foreseen that?
He starts like slashing, killing all these zombies, which were originally his co-workers in the Crusades.
His co-workers.
The way you describe that makes me think of like Office Space or a Dilbert cartoon gone horribly wrong.
Or horribly right.
Yeah. So he meets I didn't get his name, but he has his brother in this crusade. He's
I think
kind of
that's Francesco?
Yeah. He starts shaming him. He's like, no, crusades are wrong. God would never condone that, you jerk. I mean, he does condone the F out of you fighting and killing everything down here, but not the Crusades.
That's where he draws the line.
Yeah. So he's like, your anger and violence is your sin, but could you still do anger and violence? Because we really need you to kill Satan. Don't repent yet. So he ends up doing the OP cross attack on his friend. His friend goes to heaven.
Yep. Super cross.
Not the other co-workers that he had no problem slashing up.
Nope.
Okay, but we go to the 3 great rivers of hell.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of red in this movie.
I mean,
yeah, my eyes were getting really itchy.
Virgil has another friend as a naked gargoyle woman, and she's just like, "Yeah, can you give us a lift?" And she's like, "Yeah, we're cool. We're cool."
Didn't Virgil say that it bites?
Yeah, yes, because apparently there's some negative parts to hell.
No,
it's not all fun
peaches
and
and
games.
cream down here.
I know it might seem like a theme park, but it's pretty negative. So Virgil says, "I need to leave you, because you need to figure out your sin, Dante." And he's like, "Well, I think it was when I killed all those innocent people, just taking a stab."
No.
Or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Or 50.
Then we realize that woman he got comfort from, her husband, she got so depressed that did she kill herself? Because she's depressed because she slept with Dante, or did she die? I can't remember.
I have no clue.
I don't know, man. I was having trouble keeping up myself.
Yeah.
Well, basically, when she dies, her husband is like, "Oh, I hate that. Hate that you slept with my wife. You didn't even offer."
You would think
her
that you would hate
picnic."
dying.
Yeah. So he decides that he's the one who's going to murder all Dante's wife, and so there's a lesson here.
That's right.
And don't commit adultery, and then kill the person's best friends.
It all comes back around.
Yep.
Karma.
So we cut to the wedding between Lucifer and Beatrice. And, there's many, many allusions to the Mario Brothers movie where Bowser's going to marry the princess. I mean, it's pretty much scene for scene. Who copied who? So they get married. Beatrice turns into Hot Topics Beatrice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She goes emo.
She goes full emo, starts turning on black veiled brides, sitting in a black light room.
Breast grow a few cup sizes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, guys.
I'm just saying.
I think one of the animators.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Might have misunderstood the assignment. All right. All right.
I don't think any of them understood the assignment, to be fair.
Oh.
Yes. So Beatrice finally meets up with Dante. She starts bashing him to pieces. You're a scumbag. I hate you. I really love Lucifer. Yes. Lucifer makes her bite like a prune, which I think is supposed to be like that Adam and Eve apple. And she bites it, and it looks like a prune. And so now he's in this final boss, which you would think he would just pull out the cross and be like, nope, march to heaven right now, Missy.
Supercross?
Yes.
Nope.
So I'm like, yeah, just do that. But no, instead he's getting beaten up by her. He's refusing to fight. And he finally is like, oh man, I really need to face my sins, except for the next few kills I have to do. All right.
Just a few more murders before we go.
Yep.
A little bit more killing to do.
We go to another flashback, so we understand that Dante's life is horrible, and it turns out
as if that wasn't made abundantly clear.
Yep. Beatrice's brother takes the blame for killing all those innocent Kurdish people, and he gets hung, and based on that, he goes to hell. Because apparently taking the blame for something you didn't do also gets you into hell. It's just as bad as doing it.
What doesn't get you into hell in that universe anyway?
Right. So finally, he pulls out the cross, and she's like, oh my gosh, you kept my cross. That's so romantic. Oh, you're so sentimental, Dante. I guess I am
We're
going
back
to
at that naked picnic again.
Yeah. And then an angel comes down and be like, all right, we have room for one more. Get in there, Beatrice.
Ascension.
Now, because this is a video game, we need 100% completion. So saving Beatrice was not enough.
Nope.
Now we got to do the side missions. Beat the game on hard. There's one more level, the level of the devil.
Devil.
So the worst circle of hell is if you're a traitor, like Satan was the traitor in the garden. And he sends him to this ice cave. And Dante starts looking swole.
As if the movie wasn't trying to rip off, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure tropes enough.
Yeah.
Right, he hits the creatine powder somewhere between circle 8 and 9.
He's Giga Dante.
Right. And honestly, I did not know this was different directors' visions. So I'm like, what power up did he get? I don't understand.
Why is it happening?
Yeah. So Dante meets a frozen woman in the ice. He sees Lucifer tied up in chains. Lucifer's like, oh, are you ready for the final boss fight? Dante says yes. Slices him open. So easy.
Mm-hmm.
Game Genie codes all the way. Satan has poor self-defense stats. But then, in Final Fantasy fashion, there's a part 2 to the boss.
There's always a part 2.
Yes. Satan says, I tricked you. I really stole your wife so that you could fight all 9 circles of hell, and I just kind of knew you were going to win every battle because hell's really not that big of a deal. Or
you're just that OP.
Then I'm going to anger you, and so you accidentally cut me out of my prison, and now I can take the place of God and take over all the earth, make it hell on earth.
Demonic Uno reverse.
Yes. Right. And all of that is done in bad dubbing.
Yeah.
Yes. Horrible dubbing.
So Dante gets beaten up in this battle. It's a little bit harder. He does that, and then he's like, you know what? I need to pray for forgiveness. He prays, Satan explodes, opens up a wormhole where they jump into purgatory, and he gets to rip off his quilt skin. that cross falls off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the cross turns into a snake as he's walking through purgatory saying, man, what a crazy weekend.
Mm.
As credits roll. And we are done.
Yup.
Wow.
Hell. Am I
Finally.
Mm. Yep.
Snake slithers away, setting up for Dante's Inferno 2, Electric Boogaloo.
To Dante, to Inferno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To Dante, to Inferno.
Dante Drift.
Dante's Drift. I like Dante 10. They really up the action scenes.
And there's Dante in space.
Yeah. Where Dante
always is.
throw a car at a rocket.
Dante versus Faust.
Yes.
And then The Rock is just in it.
Yeah. And Kevin Hart for some reason.
Yeah, he plays Herbie the tribal demon. Yeah. So, you guys just pretty much, we ran into my second portion where we come up with sequels. You guys nailed it.
Yeah, we already did it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, speed run. Just like Dante through the ladder circles of hell.
Yeah.
Well, if Dante's Inferno is like Jurassic Park, then we have to have Dante's World. Where they reopen the park. AKA hell.
They reopen hell.
And they're like, oh, this was a bad idea the first
Nothing
time.
could go wrong.
This time it's different.
We have safety procedures.
Yes. We put the predators in the middle of the island. All right.
Mike, I do want to take this opportunity to pitch my spiritual successor to this movie.
Yes.
If that's okay.
Of course.
Have you guys heard of a little poem called Paradise Lost by John Milton?
I may be familiar somewhat.
Is it based on a slasher beat 'em up game? Because that's how I get my poems.
Yeah.
No, but
isn't it a dating sim?
This is told. This story is told through the lens of a 3D platformer, and you play as Adam and Eve, but they're kind of like the ice climbers, where they're attached to each other, and they try to get back into the Garden of Eden.
Wow. I'm on board for this. In fact, one
I
of
would
my
play
assignments was to take a book that's like on public domain and turn it into a beat 'em up slasher. So Sense and Sensibility, where you have to walk through towns beating up suitors for Elizabeth.
I love it.
I think there is a book called Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters.
Oh.
So we're halfway there.
Did that come before or after Pride and Prejudice and Zombies?
I don't know. But I have one called Little Women and Werewolves. So they're just hitting all the classics.
Right.
Man, that kind of reminds me of that idea I pitched to Mike a couple years ago. It's based on the 12 Labors of Hercules, but it's just a dating sim.
Dating is 12 labors, so yeah. I prefer Oliver Twisters to be.
Ooh.
Yeah, what's that about?
It's about an orphan boy who has to fight a night of dangerous twisters and cyclones.
The little orphan boy is just played by Glenn Powell. He's got like a little hat and suspenders and everything.
I have some more.
David Copperhead.
Yes.
It's Victorian England, but they're snakes.
Yes.
And a plane.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. See, this stuff writes itself. EA, we just gave you the next 6 games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
So now for the best award.
Dear.
As much as you feel about this, what do you think they did right? What do you think deserves a little applause? It could be the guy that handed out snacks. It could be an actor. It could be whatever you thought deserves a little respect.
I would say, anyone who, decided to stick around after the Lust Circle. Yeah. Those are the real heroes here.
Tough.
The real heroes.
Right.
No, I just want to shout out production IG that worked on this. You might know them from little things like Parappa the Rapper, Ghost in the Shell, Haikyuu, little things like Prince of Tennis, Psychopaths,
Yes.
a couple of games like that, or shows like that, for working on this. Like it blows my mind the level of talent that they had poured into this, and like in comparison to all the other stuff that we watched, I don't know, I think I said this at the beginning, it blows everything else we've seen out of the water in terms of like talent wise, but like the end result was like the same thing as everything else.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you that, just because you throw money at something and you get the right staff doesn't mean that you're going to get, a great story.
Yeah. The premise was flawed from the start. It's a poem that talks about the Divine Comedy that's a God of War game that's translated into a movie. That's like 4 levels of Google Translate right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Right.
when you base your scenes on what boss comes next, you're not going to have a story that's good.
Yeah.
Right. And to like give people perspective, it's like someone took an SNL romantic comedy sketch and turned it into a Dark Souls game. Like that's that's what we're talking about.
Right.
Like, at what point do you just realize that oh good grief, it would be easier to just scrap all this convoluted adaptation and just have an original story?
Yeah.
Right.
Just some kind of like actual legitimate creative work. But no, this is a movie based on a game based on a poem.
Right.
This is the way it's done.
It felt like there was a struggle between people who were trying to give it some sort of like meaningful story, but it just kept getting like foiled and bogged down by people who were just trying to put more, boobs and boss fights in it.
Which was the
That's
original
what
title.
sells.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like it seems like Dante is about to get like to the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's the fight blood, fight, blood. And it's like, nope, you lost it.
So you have chosen violence.
9 times he's chosen it.
Yes. Oh.
I have to give my credit to the person in charge of drawing blood and slashing.
Yeah.
They brought their A game. Like, you will not find better slashing and blood squirting animations. I mean,
No, I'd have to agree. That was pretty on point.
Yeah.
Now the CGI, however, I mean that's just it was all just phoned in type CGI. I mean, it doesn't have to be good. Again, it's a movie based on a game. The CGI doesn't have to be great. Just make it bloody. Make the blood look, authentic.
Yeah. I would say that this, like, it had so much going for it. And when I first started this movie, I'm like, oh no, am I going to like this?
Right.
You would think.
Am I going to enjoy this?
It seemed like the one with most potential to be like a decent watch.
Right.
I believe you said that we might be punching up with this movie.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I thought EA, they invented like AAA games, and then they invented like paying extra after you buy the game.
Well, we see how well that's received.
Right. And well, I figure if they're the ones who invented that, maybe this is in their wheelhouse. But yeah, like EA is like, that's a big name. Like, this is what Adam was saying. Like, everyone is amazing at their job on this. EA has money.
Mm-hmm.
The directors all have impressive resumes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just like, it's really hard to watch. And, I want to give everyone who's listening like permission not to watch this.
Yeah.
Just because the ticket and the heaviness of the subject is just like, it's like you don't want to end your day on that.
No.
And they don't handle it properly either, so it's just like a big waste of everything.
Yeah, there's not really like an emotional payout.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I mean, the lesson is you can be a jerk, just get a really good weapon.
Yeah. Just, max out your, constitution and strength stats and, get that epic weapon and you're golden.
I mean, Adam, that's how the poem was written. Like,
Yeah.
and behold, at the gate, I had +5 strength and +10 weapon, and doth I slayed.
That's wow. What a perfect thing to end on, Mike. A quote from the original Divine Comedy.
I mean, there's very few things I memorize, but that one I have fully there. Okay, let's judge this. Heaven or hell? Is it to be disposed, to be avoided, or to be enjoyed?
I think it's to be thrown into whatever hell the movie came from. Just throw it back. Yeah.
Okay, Ivy, you made yourself clear. It's gonna end up next to Santa Werewolf. Are you okay with that?
I feel like as far as enjoyment levels, Santa Werewolf was a little bit better. Like, it wasn't good quality wise, but I at least just wasn't filled with a sense of like just loss within myself.
Right.
Personally.
Yeah, the aftertaste of toothpaste and orange juice.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, where do you put this movie?
Yeah, just toss it in the bin.
All right, Vincent.
Well, again, on paper, this movie had a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
It had a great medium. It had several notable directors, notable voice cast, a arguably well established IP, if I guess you could call a public domain poem IP. But yeah, just the whole thing was so.
It's 90% God of War, 10% literature.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is like what a gamer thinks of when they say, "Oh, I know where Street Fighter the movie went wrong. They didn't adhere to the lore. I'm going to adhere to the lore if I make a movie based on this, and it's going to have lots of boobs in it."
Right. Right.
So yes, this movie does deserve to be disposed, thrown in the lava, thrown in the deepest pits of hell, thrown into the treacherous, icy wasteland for, playing upon our better sense of judgment, thinking that this could have some kind of redeeming quality to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That surely a movie based on a game, based on a poem, couldn't be that bad.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I just want to clarify, theologically, Electronic Arts did not correctly show how the Bible works.
You don't say.
How anything works.
So if any of you wanted to use this as a recruiting or should I get into religion? This is going to be my make it or break it movie to decide. Don't. Okay?
That would be wild if this was like the movie you were looking to make your spiritual decisions.
If you're looking to study theology in college, this should not be part of your required viewing.
This isn't your textbook.
No, not by a long shot.
Mm-hmm. But it is a good lesson about turning something that's sacred and something that has value in the literature world and turning it into a cash cow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Wow.
And not even a good one, because God of War is still at the top, all right? And people aren't really talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a mercy that it got lost in the third-party bin.
Yeah, I always kind of confused that with Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
Basically the same thing, right?
Well, I mean, it's just Dead Space, but in the Middle Ages. I mean, which is also a cartoon on Tubi. And you probably don't want to try to go back to that well again.
Well,
no, I feel like this movie was trying too hard to be the Castlevania of its day.
Yeah.
So if you have even the slightest perverse interest in viewing this, just watch Castlevania.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just go on Netflix, put that on. I guarantee you will be much more satisfied by the end of that series.
Absolutely.
Because it has a beginning, middle, and end.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more biblically accurate.
And characters feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's still violence and boobs in it. So it's a win-win-win.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
This movie feels like the kid with the fedora and the fingerless gloves is sitting at your lunch table and is like trying to explain to you what he read in the Bible last night. Like that's what this
guy.
This movie was written by the 13-year-old who got to watch rated R movies.
but like not really. It was like his like
it's what he thought rated R movies were.
right.
It's like that scene in
right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And Titanic.
Yeah, that one scene in Titanic after he kills all those guards, and then like he gets naked with that girl on the side of the boat. You didn't watch Titanic, did you?
When he stabs the iceberg.
He stabs the iceberg.
Oh my gosh. Well, anyways, folks, this was a wild ride. And guess what? Next one, I get to pick the movie.
Ooh.
So,
wait. Hold on. I feel like I should just make the point that TUBI, I guess, was following our lead. And as of the end of last year, the film was removed from TUBI.
Oh, yeah.
But I also noticed it's on Freevee, not. So if you do, you really have to see it. Go to Freevee.
Oh no, is that where the discarded, gems from TUBI go?
Yeah. There's like TUBI? 20 more ad breaks.
Is that the ring of hell beneath TUBI?
Right. It's the we have TUBI at home.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, anyways, folks, thanks you. This was a wild ride, and the bulk of our show is not to gross you out and to make you hate life. So just take this show as it is, an experiment in watching wild and crazy movies and analyzing them. We had fun just kind of tearing it apart, talking about it. And maybe that's what that is divine purpose. But next, maybe I'm going to go on the opposite side of the spectrum. With our next movie, it might be only for kids.
Break the spell.
Yes. And
I feel like we're due for a good kid.
Break the cycle.
Yeah. So we're going to see what TUBI has in the kids section.
A troll in Central Park.
Yes. And it's going to be wonderful. Anyways, I've been Mike.
I'm Adam.
I'm Ivy.
And I'm Vin.
And thank you for joining us for TUBI Decided.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got my pocket for the show, it's TUBI time. Cheesy sci-fi flicks and every weird rhyme. Aliens and spaceships made of tinfoil dreams in a cardboard universe where nothing's as it seems. Yeah, that's it seems. They got ray guns blasting in a paper sky. Cheap effects, but fun enough to fill your eye. Plot holes deeper than a crater on the moon. But I'm hooked like fish to a melody and tune.